to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it so very much. Please forgive the hair. It's super hot today and I just did not feel like wrangling it after I took a shower, so I just threw it up in a messy bun with a scrunchie. Usually it's in a nice bun, but it's hot and I was just not feeling it. Anyway, today I have my single shadows and declutter. I have worn all of these at least once and kind of got an idea of how they apply and how they wear on me, and if I have any allergic reactions, which I did have a reaction to one of them. So I'm just going to jump in. I might not get all of them done today just because it is getting closer to dark and I don't know how much good lighting I will have. I'll try to pull these up, give it a little bit better light, but as long as I have light, I will, but you might see me halfway through changing clothes. So first up is from Buxom. This is Bold Bling, and this is just a single. You can put this into one of their palettes because of the way that they are created. There's a little thing that flips out right there. And that's what the shade looks like. It's a pretty color. It's nice, I will say that. So some of these I think are good everyday shades. I can do a one look, and then some of them are good like base shades. So I'm keeping some of them for that. This next one is from Colored Rain. So this is one from the Ipsy collection though. So it is made by Ipsy instead of Colored Rain. This is the shade Who Me, and it is very similar to that last one. A little bit different shade, but pretty close, but those are good shades for everyday wear, something that I do wear when I'm working and such. Next up is from L'Oreal. This is one of the Infallibles. This is in the shade, what shade is this? Always Pearly Pink. It is a pretty pink. These are kind of weird packaging because they're like a loose pigment, but they have this little like stamper in the bottom of it. But that's what the shade looks like. It is such a pretty color. It's super light, but it is one that I totally would gravitate towards just because I really like the color. All right, next up we have from Urban Decay. This is the shade Scratch. I love this shade. I actually have this in one of the palettes, one of my Urban Decay palettes, and I wore it so much. It's like the one shade that I hit pan on. It's just a great, like all over the lid, kind of my skin but better kind of shade. Basically like a scratch. It just looks a little bit more pretty than other ones. So I have that one, and then I have another one from Colored Rain and Ipsy. This is Champagne Life. These are the only two I have from Colored Rain that are singles. All of the other ones that I have from Colored Rain are in a palette. And this one kind of has like a gold shift to it. Like you think it's gonna be kind of plain, and then it has that gold shift to it. So it's really pretty. I realized I forgot to say I'm keeping all of these shadows so far. I'll let you know when I'm actually decluttering eyeshadows, and if I seem a little stuffed up, it's not because I'm sick, it's just I went outside, I went and got gas, and man, just going out for a little bit takes me a while, like an hour to calm down, and then I'm fine, but I don't have an hour to wait for my allergies to calm down, so I'm just gonna push through. I have one from ColourPop. This is a Super Shock. This is in the shade Birthday Cake. So this was a limited edition one they did for their birthday. I just dropped it and it still is good, which is nice. It has dried out, so it's not like the super cream to powder that it used to be, but I still think it performs and looks really pretty. So I'm going to keep it even though the formula has changed. It's not like the soft texture that it used to be, but I still like it. All right, we got a super old one. This is a Jane Ising. I don't even know if you remember Jane. It's from my college days, so it is old, but I just, even if I wasn't keeping it, I would put it in my collection. I just love that it's a beautiful all over shade. This is the shade Ginger Ale, and it's just really nice. I like it, and I'm keeping it. I'm also keeping the other really old one I have, which is in Moss, and I got this because I wanted a green shadow, and green shadows used to be a little hard to find, so this is like my St. Patty's Day every year kind of eyeshadow that I would wear. They don't have a lot of pigment to them, but I kind of like that because sometimes you just want a nice neutral shade that you can work with and blend around, and you don't want it super dark, because when I tend to wear dark shades, they just make my eyes look like I painted black all over them. I have really all super light shades on today, and I really like the look that I got. All right, I have one from Ace Beauté. This is the Glimmer Shadow and Huckleberry. And this one is gorgeous. I love this color. I was really glad that this was the shade that I got instead of some of the other ones that they had, because some of them were not as pretty as others. And then this other one is French Vanilla. I got both of these in BoxyCharm. So most of my single shadows I did get in subscription boxes. You can see that beautiful silver. It's just a really nice silver, not overwhelming like some of them are. At least to me on my skin, some of them don't look all that great. But most of these are ones that I got in subscription boxes or gifts with purchase. The exception would be like the Jane and the Urban Decay. I did buy, I'm looking at them over there, the L'Oreal too, because they were on clearance at Target, and I went a little crazy. All right, from Suave Beauty, this is the shade Turmeric. I also got this in an Ipsy. We'll swatch it sideways. That's what it looks like. It's super gold, kind of like a bronzy gold. It's really pretty as well. All right, so I thought we'd switch over and show a few of them that I am passing along. This one I'm putting in a giveaway actually, because this is untouched. I've never used it. It's from Lancome. It is in the shade Filigree. And I also have this one from them as well, which is Mannequin. It's also a really pretty shadow. I've never touched them, never swatched them. So those are brand new shadows that I know somebody will enjoy because they're super nice. I have one from Urban Decay. This is the shade Midnight Cowboy, and I am decluttering this one. It's really pretty, but it just, I don't know, I didn't like it so much on my eyes. So, but now looking at it, I'm like, that's so pretty. I felt like it was a little too glittery though. That's why I was decluttering it. I have one from Bare Minerals. This is the shade Glitz. It is a loose powder. It is such a mess because it just, I like the Bare Minerals that have like little clothes on them, which they don't do on the small ones, and it makes life so much easier. So that's what it looks like. It's just not my favorite. That's not a lot on that swatch, but you kind of get an idea of how it performs, what the color is, and it's just not really one of my colors. Then I have this one from Bare Minerals, which I'm also putting in a future giveaway, or maybe a friend will want it. It's this beautiful blue shade. It's called Masquerade, but since I don't need it and I haven't used it, some of them I was like, you know what? If I haven't swatched them, if I haven't opened them, I'm going to pass them along. Then I have one from Kat Von D. This is the shade Thunderstruck. And I picked this one up at TJ Maxx when it was on sale. It's pretty. It's kind of a duo shade, has kind of a shift to it, which is fine, but for that kind of shade, the reason I picked it up in the first place was to use it as a base, and it's not really a base type shade. I can't use it for the purpose that I purchased it for. All right, so this next one is from ColourPop. This is the shade Party of Five. This was another one of their Super Shocks for their birthday. This one is not quite as dried out as the first one that I showed you that was a Super Shock. You do have to make sure you really tightly close them, but oh my gosh, look at how beautiful that is. That's a really pretty color. I really quite enjoy that one. I also have My Little Pony. This is an extra one that I got because it was all messed up when I got it and I had to repress it. And I had gotten this collection originally for sentimental reasons, not to actually use it. So I did end up with an extra one of Cherry's Jubilee, which is this beautiful white with like a lavender shift to it, which fits the horses. Like if you knew the old school 80s My Little Ponies, Cherry's Jubilee was the white horse with the red cherries. So it makes sense that it's not pink or a red. Then I have another one from, this is my last Super Shock, I think. This is the shade Sequin. This is the one that I have purchased. I'm not really sure why I picked up this shade, to be completely honest. It's really pretty. It is still creamy and nice, but that's what it looks like. And yeah, so I like it. I don't remember why I ended up picking out that particular color, because it seems a little out of my zone. Then I picked up this one from Urban Decay. This is the shade Fireball. And this one has actually a good dent to it. I've used this one quite a bit over the years. It's such a pretty shade. I just really love how it moves around. And this is a great, like, all over the lid, one and done kind of shade, which is why I decided to keep that one. All right, one more before I wipe off the swatches again. This one is from Tarte. It doesn't really want to show up without like blinding you. I'll bring it closer in. There you go. This is Park Avenue Princess. It is a chrome paint shadow pot. And it's another one like the L'Oreal that has the little stopper. So it's kind of a loose pigment. This is not at all what I was expecting these to be like. This came in an Ipsy bag. So it's like super metallic, just gold, so much. Like you're just gonna get so much of this. Like you can see that I've swatched it all over the place, and you know, that's the initial swatch, and that was just one dip. All right, another one that I'm keeping, this is INMO Cosmetics. I don't know, this is a brand that I'm not familiar with. Obviously, I got this in a subscription box if it's not a company I've ever heard of. It's a beautiful purple shade. This was one of the first ones that I started with because I wore each one of them one a day, and I was like, that shade is so pretty. I really love it. I also really love this one from Steve Laurent. This is Green Apple. This I also got in an Ipsy. I've had Ipsy for so many years that I've gotten a lot of shadows over the years. Or maybe I got it in glossy box. I could have gotten it in glossy box, but that's what it looks like. I mean, man, they're both beautiful shades. So I thought I would show a few that are unopened that I'm going to keep and just kind of show you what they are. This first one is from Lenny Cosmetics, and it is in the shade Byron Bay. It is this beautiful, like, iridescent pink. I'm excited to try it, but since it wasn't open, I decided to just leave it unopened for now because I want to use up some of the ones that are already opened. Then this one is from Bare Minerals. This is the shade Cream Soda. It just looks like an amazing base color, so I'm keeping that. I have some other base colors to use up first, but that's always something I can use. Then I have the shade Blush. Once again, the same kind of idea. Just looks like a good all over base shade. Then we have from M Princess. Oh my gosh, the packaging on this is really cute too. That's what it looks like. This is the shade Pretty Petal, and it's like a purple kind of shade, and just looked really pretty, so I couldn't let it go. Here's another from Bare Minerals. This is the shade Burlesque, another good all over. And since these are unopened, I don't feel like I have to worry about them going bad quite as much as ones that are already open or that are pressed. And then my last one that is the same idea, this is Steam, and this looks like a pretty, like, iridescent kind of blue shift. I don't know. That one I might declutter once I open it. Who knows? All right, a few more of my declutters. I am decluttering all of my Cover FX, what are these, shimmer veils. I thought I could use them, but then my eyes started being irritated while I was wearing these, and I just decided it's not worth it to continue with them. They're pretty, some of them are prettier than others. I mean, like this one, the second one is so pale. It doesn't really do much for me at all. That's the shade Soleil. The first one is Moonstone. Then I have this one, which is Amethyst, which is what I started with. I got this from BoxyCharm. It's really pretty, but like I said, if it's causing eye irritation, it has got to go. And then this one is, it's actually irritating my hand right now, Celestial. This one is really pretty. It's really pale. Plus, I have a hard time with these pearl shadows because they're so messy and they take so long to dry. You have to sit there with your eyes kind of closed for a while, and it's hard to put them on precisely and make sure they don't move. So those are all reasons why I'm not sad to have them go out of my collection. Oh, feels better. Couple more. I have this one from IBY Beauty. This is the shade Fire and Ice. I think this is a really pretty color. It's like one of the blue-brown shifts, but it's just so dark. I have other versions of this that are lighter, and that just works a little bit better for my skin tone personally. Then I have this one from Nomad. This is the shade Marrakesh. Ooh, this just lost a chunk of it into my box top. It's also pretty. It's just a little dark, not one that I would really reach for a whole bunch. All right, let's talk about some liquid shadows that I am keeping. This first one is from Ofra. This is Bossy Eyes. And so far I haven't had any issues with it. It is kind of a different formula. It doesn't have like actual glitter in it like the other ones do. And then this one from Wander Beauty. This is the shade Dove Gray. This is not my favorite shade, just to be honest with you. But I didn't have a reaction to it, so I want to try to use it just a little bit. It's kind of a blah shade. And then I have 3 of these from Mary Kay, and these are so old, and I know they're so old. And they're still working on my eyes though, so, and they don't smell funny. I'm just gonna kind of go with it. I did throw out one of them that was no longer creamy, but this is the first shade. There it is, kind of blended out. This is the shade Silver. They were Icicles, cream to powder eyeshadow. Then the next one I have, make sure I get it all off. This is Bronze. I loved these back in the day. Like, I know I've gone through more than one tube of these. And that's Bronze. They're not the prettiest colors, but I mean, when they came out, there wasn't like a whole lot of different colors, I guess. And then this one is the shade Vanilla. Obviously, this is like my favorite. But that's what they kind of look like. And then you just blend them out and they just are so pretty, like the vanilla. Look at how it catches the light. Oh, so pretty. All right, moving on. I have one of these from Naked Cosmetics. I'm pretty sure I passed on the stack that I had of these, but this one is open. It is kind of that blue-brown pigment. It is a loose pigment. Oh my gosh, like it's super messy. And my hand's still wet, so that's gonna impact the swatch just a little bit, but we'll go right here. That's kind of what it looks like when it's not wet. I'm gonna let my hand dry. All right, we got one from Natasha Denona. This is the shade Morgana. This is from the Sunrise palette or the Sunset, the bigger palette. I can't remember which is which. This one came as a single in my Allure. And oh man, this is so pretty. I really do want this full-size palette. I've not purchased it yet, but I anticipate getting it eventually. So that's probably one that will get decluttered just because of that. Then I have this one from Lorac. This was a free gift from Ulta as a diamond person. So a diamond member, not a diamond person. What are these called? I don't know what the specific is, but it's a really pretty, it's kind of like a cream formula, but very dry cream formula. It's weird, but it's really pretty. It's a nice, like all over the lid kind of shade, not all over the lid, but all over, yeah, the actual lid, but not over the whole, like all the way up. Does that make sense? I'm not being very articulate right now. Fantasy from Mana Kadar. I've had several of these and I've passed on multiples because I've gotten this in multiple subscriptions. This is what the shade looks like. It is a really pretty color. It's kind of basic, but it would make a good all over color. Then I have a really old one from Stila. This is the shade Golden Topaz, and that's kind of what it looks like. It's just a really pretty color as well. It's one that I could see being a good up above shade. All right, I'm gonna call it quits for today just because it's getting pretty dark and I look at my background and it's kind of dark, even though it's not dark outside, but I've kind of lost my natural light. So I will be finishing this tomorrow and you'll see the rest of my shades in the same video. So magic change. All right, I am back with some more that I am decluttering. This first one is from Stila. This is the shade Kitten. This is like the coolest formula. It's really wet. It's kind of like a precursor, I think, to the glitter liquid shadows. I really like it, but it did irritate my eyes, so I'm going to pass it along to somebody who doesn't have as many allergies as I do. Then I have this one. This is Pause for Applause by Benefit. This is just so super pale. Like, I used a lot of it. There is a huge dent in it. I think you could probably tell, but that's what they look like. They are part of their Longwear powder shadows, and I used to really like them, but they kind of fell to the background after a while. All right, another one I'm getting rid of is the Alternative Rock. This is in the shade Take It for Granted. That's what it looks like. Give it a quick swatch. It's just another one that's kind of pale. It's not really there. It's okay, but it's not one that I see myself reaching for, so I'd rather just pass it along. This is one I was surprised about though. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Paints Metallic, and this is in the shade Violet Luster. I thought for sure I was really going to love this and keep this. But again, it was just kind of, it's pretty, but it's nothing outstanding, nothing I like really want to keep, like, and that I see myself using on a regular basis. So I did decide to declutter that one. I also decided to declutter this one from L'Oreal. This is one of the Les Monochromatique in Haute Couture. I got this in an Ipsy Plus, like maybe my first Ipsy Plus. And that's what it looks like. It's supposed to be an all over color, so you could use it on as a blush or an eyeshadow. I'm just not going to use it for either of those things, so I decided to declutter that one as well. All right, next two, I'm not going to even swatch. These are from Duché, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but they are supposed to go on their palette, but I have more shades than palette. And so I'm never gonna wear either the navy or like the brown, so I'm passing those along. I think I passed along the whole palette before, so that's probably gonna go with them. Then I have this one from Catrice. This is in Luminous Lilac. This came in, shoot, what did this come in? Probably an Ipsy or a glossy box, something like that. It's pretty enough, but it's just nothing that's really exciting, and it's not that great of quality like compared to some of the other ones I decided to keep. So those are the ones that I decided to declutter. All right, last few that I'm keeping. This is Nude Swings. This is another Benefit powder shadow. This also has a huge dent in it. It's just a great all over the lid kind of base shade. So I really like it for that. That's why I decided to keep it. Then I have another one of the L'Oreal pigments. This is Infallible in Endless Pearl. This is once again the kind of messy thing with the little lid. And then they're like this, so they're pretty pressed down in there with the lid. That does help a lot. And that's what it looks like. Once again, you could barely see it. Great all over the lid shade. That's definitely the reason why I decided to keep it, because it's one that I could see actually using. We have one from Fresh Minerals. This is the shade Lunar, and same thing with this one. It's another one that I just see using it as an all over shade, and I really want to use up some of my loose pigments. Isn't that pretty? It's just a really pretty light reflecting kind of base shade. Two more. We have this one from Savvy Minerals. This is in the shade Residual, and I don't know if Savvy Minerals is still the name of it. It is by Young Living, which is an MLM. My good friend sells Young Living, and she wanted me to have some natural makeup, so she gave me this. And like one other thing too, unfortunately I couldn't use that because I had peppermint in it, essential oil. And with all of my allergies, that was not a thing that I was going to use. So that's what it is. It's a pretty color. I think, once again, it will be a good base shade all over color. Hopefully maybe soften a look like today. I was using shades trying to soften the colors of the eyeshadows for today's look too. And then my last one is by Bare Minerals. This is the shade Glamtastic. I'm trying not to turn them over because I just tipped them over, which was so irritating because these get everywhere, and I was trying to get them back down. So that's what it looks like, and then a nice swatch, a little extra. Got a little too much there, but once again, great overall shade. Kind of a boring note to end on, right? Just a whole bunch of shades that are good all over base shades, but that's why I decided to keep them, because those are the ones that I hit in the pan, like use them up the fastest in a palette. So all in all, I decluttered 20 and I kept 39. So I got rid of quite a bit. I got rid of a third of the eyeshadows that I had, the single shadows. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you think I did a good job? Do you think I got rid of good ones? Do you think I kept good ones, or vice versa? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. I hope you are having a fantastic day. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.